Old Fashioned Football on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting research platform for parlays, props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use code SUPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. We're also brought to you by SGPN's Ultimate New Year's Eve Party. Hop on Sports Gambling Podcast YouTube channel for truly DGen afternoon, complete with drafts, pick'ems, prizes, live sweats, and more. The fun starts at 12:30 Pacific New Year's Eve, 12:30 Pacific, New Year's Eve. Make sure you join it.
Hey, what's up? This is Sam Acho, and you're listening to Old Fashioned Football.
Old Fashioned Football.
Make this deal right now, you pancake eating mother.
All right, deal.
Old Fashioned Football.
Welcome to Old Fashioned Football. It's fantasy football championships, because Murr doesn't like when I call them finals. If you're wondering who you're listening to, this is J-Mark. You can find me on the X at J-Mark Football. And if you're wondering who us is, it's at Old Fashioned FB on the X. And before I keep going, by the way, it looks like we might be frozen on Instagram. So if you're on Insta and we're not frozen, that's good. If we are, sorry, you probably can't even hear this. But anyways, I got to bring in my co-host on the pod and in life. You can find her on the X at the Murr Mark. Murr, how you doing today?
It's been quite a Thursday.
It's been quite a Thursday. I feel like
Yes.
you're not saying that in a good way.
Well, I'm just going, Justin. I'm just going.
Just going. Before we keep going, if you're not on YouTube, shout out to the chat on YouTube at Old Fashioned Football Podcast, Old Fashioned Football.
Hopping before we even got started.
I know. And now NASCAR Gambling Podcast saying, let's go. Make sure you check them out. They're going to be back here on the 10th for a special crossover episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. Nick Fortune saying, let's fucking go. And Josiah Hoy saying, woo! I imagine that's exactly how he meant it. Nick also saying, how would like to be paid for third place in my fantasy football league? Well, of course, I got to beat Miranda for that. So I'm looking forward to making that
It's not going to
money.
happen.
Oh, well, I guess we will see.
No.
Let's start off with a question.
This is when we have to face each other on a holiday again.
The holidays are rough, apparently, when we have to face each other. You are getting ready to win the Dynasty League, the
Hopefully.
101 of Dynasty Leagues. I'm not trying to jinx it.
I know I said
wood.
early on Tuesday how much I really fucked up my lineup there, but I pulled through.
You did, yeah.
I was so mad, but I pulled through.
Real quick, we're going to answer your question in a second, Alex, but this is episode 99, which means we're one episode away, obviously, from episode 100, which is going to be this coming Wednesday, the 3rd at 7 Central. We got some guests lined up. Going to join us, talk with us, and we're going to be drinking some 100 proof whiskeys. We're going to be recapping the whole year. It's going to be a lot of fun. You looking forward to it?
I am definitely looking
Can you
forward
believe
to it.
we've done 100 episodes?
Yes and no. Sometimes it feels like it, sometimes it doesn't.
That's fair enough. We also have some distillers coming up. We have Owl City Distilling out of Portland, Oregon, that's going to be coming up in January on the 17th, which means
we're pushing our Scotch episode to the following Wednesday.
Yes. Sorry, Karen. I know you've been requesting a Scotch. You've been patiently waiting, and now we're pushing it, but we had to work with the distiller there. And then in February, we're going to have Balcones, date to be determined. Should we answer some questions?
Well, let's get to it.
All right. Alex Payne says, I'm in the fantasy championship. Start one. Flacco, Browning, Stroud, or Love.
All right. First of all, thank you. Championship, not finals.
The fantasy football finals.
No. That doesn't even, no. Championship. Okay. Start one.
Flacco, Browning, Stroud, Love.
So let's break down Flacco because we talked about him on Tuesday.
Yes.
And the Browns, they are pushing for playoffs. So I feel like he's going to have a good game.
I'm going to nix Flacco.
You're nixing him?
Plays against one of the toughest defenses in the
But
Jets.
is that not a revenge game?
It is in a sense. You're right there. But
I'm
I
not
just
saying Flacco's my start. I'm just saying
Okay.
we're breaking this down.
breaking it down.
Let's
Okay.
talk about it. Stroud, I saw the notification come across earlier today because I've been just waiting for news on him, and he's likely to start.
Yes, I do believe. If you're looking at it from the betting angle, the
Mhm.
line jumped from 3.5-point favorites to 5.5-point favorites. To me, that indicates Stroud is starting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I agree with that.
And then
We got Browning, the Bengals against the Chiefs. The Chiefs have had a tough defense all year. I know the Chiefs
Mhm.
have not looked
they
great
have
in general,
not.
but their defense has looked good. So I don't know if I trust Browning. I think that Browning magic is kind of over.
Now, what do you think about Love?
Jordan Love against the Vikings in Minnesota. I'm saying Stroud. Nico Collins
If
is
Stroud
healthy.
starts, if he's cleared and he is good to go, he's who I'm starting to.
Yes, I agree.
Then I think maybe Flacco because I know they go against the
But
tough.
Flacco's tonight, so you gotta.
Oh, shit, this is true.
I think Stroud, backup of Love. I don't trust Browning. I like
Yeah,
Flacco, but I don't know if I trust
you go
him.
Stroud. So I guess it automatically rules out Flacco because,
Yes.
and you wait to see if Stroud is 100% going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess it would be, I would choose Love over Browning.
There you go.
Okay. Hopefully we gave you the answer you were looking for.
Moneyline Mac, he co-hosts the NFL Gambling Podcast with me, says, cheers to 100 episodes. You're an episode early, brother. Come back next Wednesday for our 100th episode. However, I did say he tagged us on X. He got a whiskey smoker.
Ooh.
So he's having a smoked whiskey. He said he broke in his smoked whiskey tool tonight. That's exciting. I like those things. NASCAR Gambling Podcast. I know who this is based on the question. This is Cody. He says Flacco or Kyler for the championship. Flacco just plays a tough defense.
Yeah, he does, except that.
Hang on. Kyler
No.
goes against one of the worst defenses for quarterback fantasy points in the Eagles.
So you're saying Flacco on this one?
No, I'm saying Kyler. He goes against one of the
you're saying
worst. As in
I
they
thought you were
allow the
saying worst
most.
matchup.
No.
No, you're
worst.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
But still, I have a hard time with the Flacco thing because he's been consistent. He's been relevant ever since the Browns started him. They have to push for playoffs. He has to have a good game. Could be considered a revenge matchup. So I don't think you could go wrong starting him. I feel like you're doing this to be argumentative against me because I felt like you agreed with me on Tuesday about picking him up off of the waivers for this week. He was my waiver pickup for this week.
It's completely all.
You
about
never
who you have.
argued. You didn't argue with me on Tuesday.
No, but if I have
But
a
today,
choice between,
2 days later,
because if I have a choice between him and Stroud, I'm taking Stroud. If I have a choice between
understand
him and
that.
Kyler,
I do
because
I would pick Stroud as well.
Yeah.
Because Stroud is a stud.
Mm-hmm.
And if you start your studs and Stroud, if he's healthy and he's playing, he is way more potential.
Mine's more. So let's
much
say,
more talented.
Let's say you were counting on. Sorry, I know you're talking to America here. Let's say you're counting on Sam Howell, and we're going to get to him in a second because he has been benched for Jacoby
I'm
Brissett.
not counting on Sam
But let's say
Howell,
you were,
but
then
I wouldn't
think
count
Flacco
on Sam Howell.
is good to pick up. Somebody got off work feisty today.
No, you're making me angry because you didn't argue with me on Tuesday, but today you're arguing with me.
I don't have an argument with it.
You would just start Kyler.
I would start Kyler over because of the matchup.
So
he has a better matchup.
We're not really giving you an answer because we're.
Well, he did say he already had my opinion. We talked about it earlier. He did say he needed your opinion too. He says Stroud is back for the championship game in the Keeper's Heart Bowl, which he is in.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of you, we will get to your questions. Don't worry. I see King Jack and Juan Pena has some questions in there. Cody also says, I did not mean to cause marital fights. But also, this is a look inside of my head right now because he is torn on the two as well. I say go with Kyler. I go with Stroud over him.
I'm going to circle back and I need to look at Kyler for a minute because unlike you, I'm going to dive into this.
I did dive into it. Flacco has a tough matchup. The Jets are a tough matchup for quarterbacks. And Amari Cooper may be out. They said he's likely going to go, but he has that heel issue. If he doesn't play the whole game, that does affect the Browns offense. Kyler Murray has a easy matchup against the Eagles. So I like starting Kyler. I realize it's outside. It's in the cold. I think it's like the 40s there. He's
Okay, well, he's
wanting to be-
also sick.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
And he didn't practice today.
You know what it was? He was just on a roll on Call of Duty.
Did you talk to him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here's the
He
other
was in a
Cody.
roll
No,
on
this finalizes it for me. He
He was in a roll in Call of Duty. He just wanted the day to
he
keep
focuses
playing.
way too much on Call of Duty, and whenever he is, his performance in games, not just fantasy football, but just his performance overall is very shitty.
To be fair, that's
Are you going
not
to
an
trust
official
somebody
report.
who's pulling all-nighters playing Call of Duty? Or are you going to trust Joe Flacco, who's been consistent, reliable? They have so much motivation going on right now. They're pushing for the playoffs. They're going to play hard. He's going to put up points in fantasy.
If you say so. If you say so. I guess we'll see what happens.
I don't know. I just don't know if he's questionable, so
Yeah. Hey, we got a slew of stuff to answer, but I got to tell you real quick that there's a big party happening New Year's Eve, and I don't mean at your parents' cabin. I mean a live stream party this Sunday over at youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast. Live pick'ems, live drafts, live sweats, and of course, prizes. Sunday, 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, New Year's Eve, the ultimate SGPN Ultimate New Year's Eve party. It's going to be fun. I don't know if we're going to be able to make an appearance there, but it'd be fun to. We'll have to see what's going on. I know we have some plans, but we'll see what we can do. All right. We got a lot of questions that I want to get to before we talk about the injury report. So let's just answer some of these questions. We got King Jack checking in. What's up, King Jack? Who do I start at running back his RB2 spot? Full PPR, James Conner, K9. K9. Why am I blanking on K9? Who's the dog? And Breece Hall. Why am I blanking? You're blanking as well.
I am too. Why?
I don't know. King Jack. Apparently, we have had a long day.
K9?
Who's K9? What?
We're gonna feel really stupid in a minute.
Probably. James Conner goes against the Eagles, who are pretty good against the run. However, I do think he's going to have a good impact in the passing game. Kenneth Walker. Thank you. Kenneth Walker, the Seahawks play the Steelers. I like that matchup better. Breece Hall plays the Browns, who are a really good defense. I think I'm going Kenneth Walker, or as he shall now be known, K9.
We won't make this mistake again.
No, I maybe I'm not paying attention enough, but I have never referred to him as K9 before.
I haven't either.
I haven't heard that. Maybe I'm in the wrong circles. To be fair, I've never said to be in a hip circle or anything, so that's fair. I miss out on a lot of the lingo. I think Kenneth Walker against the Steelers. What do you think? We got James Conner going against the Eagles. Let's break this down based on what the teams are allowing fantasy points. The Eagles are 5th best with allowing 13 fantasy points per game to the running backs. And then we got Breece Hall, who goes against the Browns, who are 8th, allowing 12.6. And then we have Kenneth Walker against the Steelers, who are 25th, allowing 18.33. Because of that, I think you got to go Kenneth Walker. Not to mention,
I think so too.
He's been running hard these past couple weeks. He has been playing very well. I think you got to go Kenneth Walker. Thanks for checking in, King Jack.
I support you, Justin, on this one.
I knew you would. Thank you. Just for an update, I know it looks like we're frozen on our Instagram screen over here.
We're not.
We got too many screens going on, but we are not. So that is good.
It's just my computer, which we haven't done our financial budgeting for 2024, but I think we need to put laptops on it.
Yeah.
We both need a new one.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Well, that's one part of our financial 2024 discussion that we won't fight about.
All right, fair enough. Juan Pena Jr. saying, do I drop Jake Browning for any of these quarterbacks? Kyler Murray, Jarrett Stidham, Tyrod Taylor, Jaron Hall, Mason Rudolph, or Jacoby Brissett on the wire? I think yes. I think the answer is yes. It's a matter of who. So I would drop Jake Browning. I think the magic has kind of run out on Jake Browning. Jamar Chase videoed he had an interview in the locker room where he said, "I'm not Iron Man. I can't throw the ball to myself." That's going to piss your quarterback off. That's not going to make him want to throw it to you, really. Maybe the squeaky wheel gets greased, but I think the Browning magic is done. So we got Kyler Murray, who we just talked about, has a nice matchup against the Eagles, even though it is in the cold and he does have that illness. Jarrett Stidham. I think Jarrett Stidham's going to have a nice game. Benched and Russell Wilson was benched. Jarrett Stidham comes in. He looked all right last year when he started for the Raiders.
Yes.
He had a really good preseason game. I kind of like it.
And generally, when we see these backups come in, their first game, they blow up.
They have a good game. Yeah. He's got Cortland Sutton as long as he plays with that concussion, or as long as he's ruled okay from his concussion. Jerry Jeudy, Marvin Mims is questionable, but I do like Jarrett Stidham. Tyrod Taylor has looked good, but I don't think he's going to have that great of a game. Jaron Hall for the Vikings, I mean, they're grasping at straws there. The fact that they've gone through Josh Dobbs.
They're all cleared to start.
Yeah, I know.
They're all
but they have announced it will be Jaron Hall now. I know they said just yesterday it was, well, they all may start.
All
but yeah, we got Josh Dobbs, we got Nick Mullins, we got Jaron Hall. The thing with Jaron Hall is the Vikings technically are still in the playoff race. So let's say he throws 2 touchdowns in the first quarter and they're down 14-0. The Vikings can very easily pull him because they've seen Josh Dobbs have some success. They've seen Nick Mullins have some success. They're not married to him starting
all
the whole
3
game.
of them just
So
start.
I don't like Jaron Hall because of that. Mason Rudolph, I mean, he struck gold last week. I know you're counting on him this week. Jacoby Brissett looked good for the Commanders, but they go against the Niners, who are a very strong defense.
Would not go with him.
So Kyler Murray or Jarrett Stidham
or Rudolph
or Mason Rudolph. Which one would you drop Jake Browning for?
Personally, because I don't know. I'm thinking here. I know I'm starting Rudolph, so there's that, and I do have options this week.
Sure.
In my super flex.
For me, it's Kyler Murray. I know Kyler Murray has had an up and down career kind of, but I think he's the most talented player out of those 3. And he has a favorable matchup against a bad Eagles defense. So for me, it's him. But you could twist my arm into Jarrett Stidham. Not to discard your Mason Rudolph.
So you're saying rank them, rank the 3. So you would pick one of those 2 over Rudolph?
Kyler Murray goes against the worst. The Eagles are allowing 23.27 points per game. So he's got that best matchup. Jarrett Stidham, the Broncos play. Who did the Broncos play? You want to look that up for me real quick? Yeah, while I talk about Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph plays the Seahawks, who are 19th against quarterbacks, allowing 17.93. So not as good of a matchup as Kyler.
They go against the Chargers.
And the Chargers are allowing, they're the 30th worst, allowing 22.27. So Jarrett Stidham has a nice matchup. Not as good as Kyler Murray's. The worst out of those 3 is Mason Rudolph, but it is just against the 19th. So it's not like it's a terrible matchup. Your gut saying Rudolph? He had a huge week last week.
He did.
Had some really long touchdown passes. I don't know. I'm still sticking with Murray or Stidham. You seem stuck on Rudolph. I see you're looking him up. I'll let you think about it.
I am stuck on him.
Okay.
But so, I also have to be. So I don't know.
Your answer is Rudolph.
I'm a little biased because
Alex says, thank you. Thank you for checking in. Juan Pena's got another question for us. Who for my wide receivers and running backs in flex? So I'm assuming 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and 1 flex. Okay. James Conner, Josh Jacobs, Zamir White, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, or Jerome Ford for running backs. So Josh Jacobs is an automatic as long as he plays. If he doesn't, Zamir White. I like that you have that backup. And I'm going to say Jerome Ford or James Conner is where I'm stuck. James Conner, I was
leaning.
I think so too. He's going to have some impact in the pass game. For wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, Amari Cooper, Rashee Rice, Jacoby Myers, Tyler Lockett, or Demarcus Robinson. So Justin Jefferson's an automatic.
Rashee Rice has been doing well.
But you can't sit Amari Cooper if he plays, right? He's been having some huge games, just coming off, I think 2 weeks ago, was 50 some points in a PPR league. So I think you have to
You
go
start.
Jefferson and Cooper. You start your studs.
Do you flex Rasheed? Who do you flex?
Rasheed or Lockett would be my flex. I could see Robinson, but he is still the third option behind Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. So Rasheed Rice.
I'm saying
or Tyler
flex
Lockett.
Rice.
Rice. Okay. There you go. And then Jags, Colts, or Rams defense. Oh, let me look at these matchups real quick. Oh, Jacksonville. They go against Bryce Young and the Panthers. I know the Panthers have looked better, but on the road, I think it's got to be the Jaguars. I'm just going to answer that now. Derek Carr, Kyler Murray, or Jake Browning.
Not Browning. We've ruled him out.
Yes. So Derek Carr, the Saints play the Bucks, who have been pretty good this year. In fact, if the Bucks win that game, they basically secure the division. However, their defense is 25th ranked, allowing 20.4 points. Carr has looked okay, throwing to Chris Olave mainly. So it's between Carr and Murray. I kind of like Carr more in that situation. What do you think? Murray does have the rushing upside, if we like that. But
we always like that.
We do. So do you think Murray because of that? She is thinking going once, going twice.
Don't do that. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning Carr.
You're leaning Carr. I'm leaning Carr as well. So that's decided. Thomas Radke checking in. How's it going, man? Half PPR, Devon Chan, Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne. So I assume it's between them. I like Devon Chan. He had a down week last week where he didn't score a lot of points. I think it's actually, no, I take it back. They're against the Ravens. He's their pass catching back, though. I think he's on the field a decent amount. Adam Thielen plays against the Jaguars, though that was kind of the DJ Chark show. I'm just walking through this in my head. KJ Osborne's an out for me compared to those two. So it's between Devon Chan and Adam Thielen. A Chan against the Ravens because he's going to be on the field catching passes and it's half PPR, or do you stick with Adam Thielen? I'm going to go with Chan.
I was going to say the opposite.
You're going Adam Thielen.
Oh.
Let me say it this way.
Yeah.
If you need a big boom and you're really like, I have to throw somebody in that has the highest ceiling, I think that's a Chan. If you need a safe floor, I think that's
safe
Thielen.
For sure.
Yes, I think that's
Thielen. Why. I don't know. It depends on the rest of your lineup, but is this the week to take those risks?
I guess I don't know. It really depends. I mean, I don't buy too much into projections, but if you're projected to lose by a lot, I like a Chan. If you are not projected to lose by a lot, I like Thielen. Cody's saying Ken Walker wears 9. I knew that. I've just never heard him called K9. And it really threw me. Josiah says, oh, to something. Nino Pena saying Stroud was a monster earlier this season, obviously, but coming off injury. Should I bench him for Stafford versus the Giants?
Not an injury, just concussion protocol.
Right.
It
was a bad concussion.
It
Obviously,
was, but they've rested him. If they're clearing him, I feel like he's going to perform.
Yeah, I agree. I like Stafford. Don't get me wrong, but I do think Stroud he's out to prove something. Also, even though he pretty much has the Rookie of the Year award wrapped up, he'd like to put a bow on that, come back and win. And they need to win to keep pushing for the playoffs here. So I like the Texans. Cody says, Rudolph Murr, Christmas is over, which I believe you told him earlier.
I was also, don't text me at work.
Because
I just happened to be glancing down at my phone. Like I probably would have missed this altogether, but I saw Cody text something about Murr will never see this. And
it's usually a fair assumption while you're working.
well, I'm really sick of him coming at me for not texting. I did not text him for 2 months. So
Well, then you kind of deserved it. Uh, last question.
maybe it wasn't quite 2 months, but
Last question before we talk about a couple other things, but keep throwing your questions out. We'll answer them. Do I start both Amari Cooper and Brees Hall confidently? You start Amari Cooper confidently. Brees Hall does have a tough matchup, but I think they utilize him in the passing game enough to make it matter. Cooper's confident. I'm not as confident in Hall, but I don't think you can sit him. It depends on your other options, but I don't think you can sit him. Oh, I recognize this. You joined us yesterday, I believe it was, in
Tuesday?
Tuesday. Thank you.
Tuesday. It is
Inflexive
Thursday.
2K. Inflexive.
Yes. Okay. You're driving me nuts, Justin.
Thanks for checking back in. We appreciate it. Cody says you are the best, by the way. All right, I said one more question. I lied. We'll do one more before we talk about some other stuff, but keep throwing them in here. Jelly of the Month Club.
Yes.
Doesn't say club, but just Jelly of the Month.
Club. He
hopefully-
couldn't fit club.
Couldn't fit club. Hopefully you also got the bonus, not just the certificate to Jelly
You're
of the Month.
putting in a pool.
Yeah, start Jets defense tonight versus Cleveland, or wait to decide on Sunday. Broncos versus Chargers, Jacksonville versus Carolina, or Chicago versus Atlanta. That's tough because the Jets are such good defense, and I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I just don't know if they're going to have a lot of turnovers. Flacco's been playing a somewhat clean game.
Mm-hmm.
I like Jacksonville versus Carolina. I like Chicago versus Atlanta. Our defense, we are Bears fans. Our defense has been playing really well.
Yeah. What are we ranked right now?
Well, I don't know fantasy football wise, but we are like the third or fourth defense in the league in the past. Well, since week 9, since we acquired Montez Sweat,
we're on a roll.
Yeah, we have I think the most turnovers in the league since that time. So I like the Bears. I like Jacksonville against Bryce Young, though he did look better last week. He did look better, 312 yards, 2 touchdowns. So Jets tonight against the Browns because they're such good defense.
I don't like it.
You don't like it? Okay. Her gut says wait.
The Browns have to win.
Yeah. But they could easily win 6-3.
They could. So I guess the defense could get. I don't think it's going to be.
My prediction for the game was 13-3.
I have
Browns
too many
win.
leagues where I don't have a defense. So
I know.
every once in a while, that's a position where
defenses are
I am
dying
guilty
out.
of not paying as much attention as I should to defenses. But if they hold them to a low score, but
yeah,
I don't know. What does that give you?
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. If there's no turnovers, that's why I'm hesitant because Flacco's been playing so clean. Taylor Heineke making his second start of the year against the Bears. Desmond Ridder was benched. He had that big bump last week. Is now the game where he falls flat and the Bears defense makes him look like a fool, and they're wanting Ridder back in the game. I say yes, start the Bears.
I like it.
It's coming from a Bears fan, so take that with a grain of
And I
salt.
also want to point out that most times when we say to do something about the Bears, it doesn't happen.
How
I'm gonna knock on wood.
you? How dare you? Miranda, before we keep going, if I could find my way around here, let's talk about Prize Picks, because Prize Picks is fun. It's easy. It's unbeatable combination of fun and easy. You can't beat that. And you can win some sweet, sweet cash. Plus, with basketball season here, you can now pick combo projections across football and basketball from the Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections that include 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. And one of my favorite things about Prize Picks is they offer you a reboot policy. Even if one of your players gets injured, your entry is still in play. That's right. If your player exits the first half of a basketball or football game and doesn't return in the second, that player's rebooted. Your entry is still alive. No more losing your entries on fantasy projections because somebody got injured. That's they're the only fantasy platform doing that. Prize Picks will help you turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps, and it's really simple to play. I can make my picks, submit my entry, less than 60 seconds, and I already said I had a favorite thing. I lied. I have another favorite thing. With Prize Picks, you can select Flex Play on your entry and still win if only just 3 of your picks hit. And I get a little special video. Instead of reading my plays to you, I released this on all our socials, but in case you missed it, because I know Miranda was working all day and did not get a chance to get in on this. So Here you go. What's up, everybody? It's Jay Mark from Old Fashioned Football and Sports Gambling Podcast Network. You can get a 100% deposit match up to $100 by going to prizepicks.com/SGPN. Right now, they got Demons and Goblins picks to get a little juice on the fantasy projections. In fact, I brought them some help to make the picks.
The Demon picks are Deebo Samuel, Jerome Ford, and Justin Fields. More than half a rush or receiving touchdown.
The Goblin has picks too, and I take CMC and Kyron Williams more than half a rush or receiving touchdown.
All right, thanks for the help, Mr. Demon and Goblin. Let's stay away from them, but let's get that cash from prizepicks.com/SGPN. Good luck, everybody. Go to prizepicks.com/SGPN and use code SGPN for first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/SGPN, code SGPN. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bet's revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down by leg, as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rates for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value.
Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com and use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. All right, we are back. You were cracking up at my video
I
there.
hadn't seen that. You were the biggest dork ever.
Well, Cody
I almost
Zeeb
couldn't
says,
follow it.
great video. He says, great video. Hey, you know what we haven't talked about yet? We haven't talked about the injury report.
We
And
have not.
do have some injuries. Should we
I'm
go
going to
over
just,
that real quick?
let me roll through these.
All right.
We already talked about CJ Stroud. He is expected to start. He's been cleared. Trevor Lawrence, he is questionable with that AC sprain. Kyler Murray, I know we've been talking about him a lot tonight. He did not practice today due to an illness. You're thinking he's likely to play. This is his second practice in a row that he didn't practice due to his illness.
He's going to play.
Do you know what his illness is?
Probably the Rona. It
Call
seems
of
to be
Duty?
going around. The Call of Duty illness.
Too many all-nighters? I don't know. Anyway, we also have quarterback changes happening all over, it seems. With the Broncos benching Russ Wilson, they're going to start Jarrett Stidham. Yeah, they're benching Russ.
He's likely to be cut. They're going to miss out on I don't know, millions. It was 60 million, 70 million, something like that. But they're likely going to cut him.
Get him out of there.
He'll be somewhere else next year.
Giants are starting Tyrod Taylor.
My God.
Tommy DeVito.
Yes, the DeVito magic is over.
Yes, and then Commanders are starting Jacob Brissett, or Jacoby, not Jacob, Jesus, Jacoby.
The brisket.
The brisket. In place of Sam Howell. Vikings, we mentioned this on Tuesday that their coach said all three are cleared to start, but they are starting Jaron Hall in place of Nick Mullins. We are currently, is that 59 starters?
Yes.
And how many, what was our bet?
68
64.
was
No, 64 is how many quarterbacks started last year.
Okay. Yeah. For the regular season. You're right.
Yes.
So we're at 64.
So no,
with these three, it's going to be 62.
It bumps up to 62. And what was my bet was under, yours was over?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're saying those are chance.
I'm saying it's going to happen. You're going to win.
Yeah, that's very possible.
Yes. All right.
You want me to cover running back?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Rico Dowdle is out, so it's going to be Tony Pollard's game. Josh Jacobs did not practice, but it does sound like he's going to play. Brian Robinson still questionable with that hamstring injury. He's missed a couple games, but I think he's going to come back. And then Deonta Foreman for the Bears was a full participant, which he missed last game. So Foreman, Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson, Justin Fields, all going to be competing for rushing yards again.
All right.
Want to talk wide receivers?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I took a drink at the wrong time.
How dare you? She's slugging whiskey out of her coffee cup. You guys don't even know it.
I don't know what's wrong with me today, but I made another cup of coffee at like 4:30. So I guess I'm not sleeping tonight.
I guess not.
I have a big work project.
Yeah.
I've got to have energy after this to go back to work.
Fair enough.
Yes. All right. We've got Michael Pittman. He was a full participant, but he had that concussion. What?
Breaking news: Amari Cooper ruled out. Just did the pregame
This
warm-ups.
changes a lot.
Yes, just did the pregame warm-ups, and he is out. He is not going to play. That heel did not feel good to him.
Think
that's big.
We had a question earlier about Amari Cooper or Breece Hall, so I think that puts Breece Hall in for that person.
Yep.
I don't know. You might want to.
Do I start both Amari Cooper and Breece Hall confidently? No, not anymore.
You cannot start Amari Cooper confidently.
This affects, to me, this affects Joe Flacco too, because Amari Cooper by far is their best receiver.
You know,
so
they had the chemistry going.
Yeah. I know Elijah Moore is still going to get some. David Njoku at tight end is still going to get some, but I think this holds them back a little bit. So, anyways, continue.
Well, and I feel like Njoku on Tuesday, he was limited.
Yeah, he's going to play, but Cooper out. I just saw it pop up on my phone.
So what does that mean? Do you start the Jets defense now?
I still don't think so. It's going to be a low-scoring game. They're going to run the ball.
Unless they don't have a low-scoring game.
Unless they don't. I think that's what they'll do.
Okay, well, in addition to that, Amari Cooper being ruled out, we have Keenan Allen. He did not practice today with that heel injury. We have Cortland Sutton, who is still questionable with a concussion.
Yeah, and for tight ends, Cole Kmet did not practice with that knee injury that he left last game with. That's big for the Bears. They don't have Robert Tonyan is not a fill-in for Cole Kmet.
No.
And Cole Kmet is a big part of that. RD said he'd ask some start questions, but he can't trust our motives. I don't think we're playing.
We're not playing against you, are we?
No.
Unless I'm.
He's wondering if we want him to win our league or not. Why not?
Hey,
why not?
Hey, I had people coming to me who played each other, and I gave honest advice to both people. No, I gave honest, and you didn't listen to me. You lost because you didn't listen to me.
Cody wants to know, does this change Flacco for you?
I don't know. This is hard because they still need.
It does for me, but
it does for you.
Yes.
For sure, you're 100% Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Yes. This
just
is
because he doesn't have Amari Cooper.
Yeah. Amari Cooper is a game changer. He's an uncoverable wide receiver, and with the defense not focused on him, they're going to be able to cover Elijah Moore and David Njoku. It's also the best, one of the best defenses in the league.
Flacco's touchdowns were they all Amari Cooper?
Last week one was, 2 weeks ago one was. I mean, he's been throwing to him a lot. Yeah. So the name that you don't like me to try to say.
It's the last 2 weeks. Flacco for 4 weeks in a row now has been very consistent and reliable based on just Amari Cooper's fantasy points. Just the last 2 weeks, he had a huge game last week.
Yeah, he did.
The week before that, he got 20.9. The 2 weeks before, where Flacco was putting up good fantasy points, he only had 6.4 and 11.7.
I still don't like starting Flacco against that defense now.
Please hold.
And Flextive says while we're talking about this, was relying on Amari Cooper. I only have George Pickens and Drake London. Should I pick up someone off waivers? It depends who's there, but I do like starting George Pickens.
If David Njoku still plays, he has had a good chemistry with Flacco too. It's not just Amari Cooper.
He has.
And one of Amari Cooper's shit games, Njoku did really well. He had 27.10.
Yeah, and while the Jets are a really good defense, they're not necessarily great against the tight end position. They're 21st, allowing 7.2 per game on average. So George Play checking in. What's up, George Play? Thanks for coming back. Is Njoku a risky start tonight? I think you're still okay to start Njoku.
Yeah, he has had 4 touchdowns over the last 3 games.
Is he your bet for first touchdown scorer? Shall we get you in the betting?
I hate when you do this to me. I hate it. I hate answering your who's going to do this. I hate when you make me answer these questions. Yes.
Yes. That she does it anyways. George also says defense for this week: Chiefs against the Bengals, Broncos, Eagles, Rams, Raiders, or Bears. We already kind of said we really like the Bears.
Yeah. I'm sorry to take it back to David Njoku and
You're good.
Browns. I don't think Amari Cooper being out, it's going to limit obviously. Well, do you think that means the Jets defense is going to focus on Njoku because he has been
I think it's more likely
hot
they're
on that
focused on
offense?
Elijah Moore, but I get what you're saying.
Well, Njoku's he's been getting the other touchdowns.
Sure. Just normally, I mean, the covering the tight end and covering the wide receiver, they use different personnel for that. So I don't think it's going to affect Njoku as much, but I get what you're saying. RD, by the way, didn't know whether or not there would be sour grapes after he eliminated both of us from the playoffs.
No.
Never.
It's fine. It's not fine, but it's fine.
Odie says Elijah Moore or Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers for me.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens go against the Dolphins. Dolphins have a good defense. Don't get me wrong. They did just beat the Cowboys, but I think they're about to get humbled by the Ravens. And Zay Flowers is a big part of that offense. So I definitely like playing Zay Flowers there. Do you have anything you want to add before we talk a little bit about the best matchups for players? We can run through these a little quicker.
I'm still not sold on Kyler Murray over Flacco.
I am. So, Cody, you're going to have to decide which one of us you like best.
I still think that when you look at the past several weeks, even with Amari Cooper, Njoku has been on fire.
I understand.
He still has him. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't know.
I just still think it's a low-scoring game.
Well, how are the Jets against the tight end position?
21st. We discussed this.
I wasn't listening to you.
Of course you weren't. Yeah, 21st.
I've been thinking about my own stuff over here.
But they're second against quarterbacks, allowing an average of 12.93 fantasy points per game.
How did Flacco do? Hold on.
I think it's a 13-3 game. Your one touchdown is on the legs of Jerome Ford. I don't like starting Joe Flacco tonight. I really don't. I think that Jets defense wants to.
Okay, but we have a solid defense.
Yeah.
And Flacco still put up 23 points against us, fantasy-wise.
True.
Fantasy-wise.
Part of that was a giant completion to Amari Cooper for a touchdown. He ended up beating the coverage, and we missed a tackle on it. So without that and us playing prevent defense, I don't think he would have had the day he had, to be honest.
I'm just trying to really vet this argument.
I know you are, but I don't like it at all. Let's talk quarterbacks with the best matchups.
Okay, let's do this.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Why don't you go cover quarterbacks?
All right, quarterbacks. These, just like last week for start sits, we're going to talk about the quarterbacks or all positions that have the best and the worst matchups. For the best ones, we'll talk about would we sit any of those guys, even though they have a really good matchup. For the ones with tough matchups, we'll talk about would we start any of those. Right?
Right.
All right. So the best quarterback matchups. Number 1, Kyler Murray against the 32nd ranked Eagles. Then we got Brock Purdy against 31st ranked Commanders. Broncos, Jarrett Stidham against the 30th ranked Chargers. Jalen Hurts against the 29th ranked Cardinals. And then the Bryce Young. The Panthers, Bryce Young against the 28th ranked Jaguars. Will you start all of them?
No.
Which ones would you not start?
I would not be starting Bryce Young.
Agreed.
I'm iffy. Well, I don't know. I was going to say with Jarrett Stidham, we just see that
on Jarrett Stidham.
I know you are. He's played well previously, played well during preseason, and you see these, like I said, you see these guys come in and just light it up their very first game. Yeah. Maybe second game, not so much, but very first.
Yeah. And I think he showed promise with the Raiders last year. I was actually shocked they didn't keep him.
Mm-hmm.
He would have been better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
What do you? Let's talk about Brock Purdy, which he really screwed me over this last week.
So the Commanders are a terrible defense, but when Trent Williams was injured before, their left tackle, the 49ers lost 3 games in a row, I believe it was. Maybe it was 2, but they did not look like the same offense. He's injured and questionable for this game. If he doesn't play, starting Brock Purdy worries me. If Brock Purdy gets banged up again because he left that Ravens game. They said he
Mhm.
could have come back, but there was no point in putting him back in there. If he gets banged up again, why leave him out there to get hurt? They could pull him again. That's what makes me nervous with Brock
Yeah.
Purdy. It's a great matchup, but it just has me nervous for starting him.
I'm nervous about it as well.
Yeah. If you have better options, I would
And
start
then
him.
obviously I would start Jalen Hurts
Mhm.
and Kyler Murray. If he is your option, your only option. I'm so mad at you, Justin.
That's fair. Sassy CS says, can you guide me in the right direction? I'm in the finals, not the championship, the finals.
No, it's the championship or the Super Bowl. of
Need help
fantasy
with
football.
lineups. Yeah, pop it in the chat who you're debating on. Oh, here we
Mhm.
go. I have Dak Prescott, Joe Mixon, Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is
Cooper
out.
is out.
Cooper Kupp, Gerald Everett, James Cook, Tyler Bass, Bills. So let us know who you're debating on starting over those people. But Amari Cooper is out, so you got to remove them out of your lineup.
Mhm.
While they're working on that, you want to talk about running backs, and then we'll answer Tyson's question.
Yes. Yep. So top 5 matchups for running backs this week. We have the Eagles, DeAndre Swift versus the 32nd Cardinals against the run. Chargers, Austin Eckler versus the 31st ranked Broncos. Josh Jacobs versus the Colts, and Travis Etienne versus the Panthers. And sorry, that was only 4. We also have
Counting's hard.
I know. Math. Just math. Najee Harris and Jalen Warren against the Seahawks. Who are you starting? Josh Jacobs.
DeAndre Swift, Josh Jacobs, Travis Etienne. The Steelers, Najee
Najee
Harris,
had
anyways, has been doing well.
He has been. Do you start all of them? I don't know about Eckler.
I know. I don't know how you bench him, but also
I have
just been
not
such a
been
shit
benching
show.
him, and it has been hurting me.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm playing you for 3rd in Nick's league.
Yeah.
He's
I don't
why.
know.
He's
Yeah,
why.
I know.
He is really
I had him too in the semis that I lost.
It's like break the rule of
Start your studs.
or let Austin Eckler fuck you over.
Yeah. You just hate to put him on the bench and then he pops off.
I know, because that would happen. But I think if you have a more consistent running back, you just do it. And if he pops off on your bench, he pops off on your bench.
Yep. Definitely difficult to decide. Breaking news, Trent Williams should play. He was limited for a 2nd day in a row. That's Nick Fortune, our 49ers fan, reporting
live from the sidelines.
Right. Sassy. So they're starting Dak Prescott over Matt Stafford.
Mhm.
And let's see, we got Michael Pittman, Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen, TJ Hawkinson, who is out, Hunter Henry, Jay Sanders, and Colts on the bench. I still like starting the Bills defense. Jason Sanders, the Dolphins kicker, took me a minute to get there. We have less and less leagues with kickers in it too.
I know.
I like keeping Tyler Bass in as your kicker. So it's really Amari Cooper. Who do you replace him with? Michael Pittman, Deontay Johnson, or Adam Thielen? If Michael Pittman plays, I think him. He's still coming back from that rough concussion. So I don't know if he plays.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't, Adam Thielen or Deontay Johnson. Johnson goes against the Seahawks. Adam Thielen goes against the Jaguars. You trust Rudolph or Bryce Young to support the pass catcher more?
Rudolph's been doing well.
I think Deontay Johnson as well. Michael Pittman if he plays. Otherwise, Deontay Johnson in place of Amari Cooper. Otherwise, I like your lineup as is. Sassy did say championship game. See, I say finals, but Miranda likes to call it the championship game.
Mhm.
So good. either
Finals
way.
is like you're taking tests in school. Like, come on.
The ultimate test is fantasy football, Miranda. Tyson.
Or finals like basketball. March Madness could not get words out. That's what finals are like when with our brackets and all that.
Yeah.
But no.
Where they play in the finals for the championship.
But this is not. This is
no. We had a bracket.
This is the championship.
We just had the semifinals. It wasn't the semi-championship. Let's answer Tyson's question. Dynasty Superflex PPR. I have Jacobs. Do I start Jerome Ford over him, But if I don't play him, I would have to start Khalil Herbert if Jacobs doesn't play. That is tough.
Can you repeat? I'm sorry. I
Okay,
can't read
so,
it.
Tyson has Josh Jacobs,
Hmm.
who is questionable. We think he'll play,
I think he's
but
gonna.
if he doesn't,
he
has to go with Khalil Herbert unless he starts Jerome Ford tonight.
ooh,
That's tough.
that's hard. And I
Yes.
just don't see Khalil Herbert.
Not with Dante Foreman coming back. I mean, Khalil had a great
No.
game last week. He scored like 18 points, but that was without Dante Foreman in there.
Hmm.
So do you cross your fingers and hope that Jacobs is indeed healthy, or do you start Jerome Ford against the Jets?
No, you hope. What I honestly what I would do if I were you, I would hope that Josh Jacobs starts. If he doesn't, then you only have 3 running backs. This is it. This is all you have.
Looks like it. Trades are still open, it says, so I could move a 3rd round pick or something similar for James Conner or Derrick Henry.
Ooh, James Conner. What are your thoughts there? Would you do that though? Would you move that, or would you just rely on Herbert if Jacobs is out?
Gosh, I don't like relying on Herbert in that game.
Mm-mm. I say you have to wait and see if Jacobs plays though, because he's gonna put up more points than Ford.
I agree. Unless you can sneak Ford in your running back and put Jacobs in your flex spot, and if he doesn't play, replace him with a wide receiver. So I guess let us know who you might have in flex. Maybe you already have a flex player that is really good anyways, but Cody does say if you can get Connor for a 3rd, do that now. I agree. A 3rd in the rookie draft is...
So when I say it, timeout. When I say Connor, you say nothing.
No,
when Cody says it, you're like, oh, if you can do this.
Well, you said Connor, or would you play to see if Jacobs plays? I would still do Jacobs over Connor. But I do agree, regardless, if you could get James Conner for a 3rd, if you think about
timeout, rewind what you just said.
Okay. If you can start Jacobs over Connor, I would do that. I wouldn't say...
Well, no, this is if Jacobs is out, do you trade for Connor? And that's what I said earlier.
I was half listening to you, I guess. Miranda was right. You should trade James Conner. Cody just copied her and said to do it now.
I don't believe he did that. And I think that you just see that and you're like, oh, this is good. This is good.
No,
I just said it like 2 minutes ago.
I'm thinking about it now.
You don't do this to me.
I'm saying, calm down. You're yelling. When I think about it now, though, if you think about a rookie draft in Dynasty, you're probably not going to draft a player that has the same value as James Conner. Because just in the rookie drafts. So yeah, I do think that. Hopefully that helps. We were a little back and forth. Miranda was getting feisty over there. I don't even know what just happened.
I'm getting feisty. You didn't listen to me, and then you say something that I already said.
Let's answer Pancake.
Like this is actually, here's my good idea.
Let's answer Pancake.
Let's answer Pancake.
In the championship for $350, thinking of picking up Jets D because of Flacco and his interceptions, but Broncos D played well against the Chargers last time. Need to make a choice quick. What do you think? So do you want Jets defense or the Broncos against the Chargers?
We just talked about how, you think this is going to be a very low scoring game.
Yes. I like the Jets over the Chargers because, over the Broncos. Sorry. Broncos against the Chargers. I like the Jets. I think Jared Stidham's going to have a good game, but what if he comes in and throws a couple interceptions? The Chargers have good field position. They put up points quickly, and suddenly the Broncos have a low-scoring defense. Because of that, I like the Jets because I think it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Unfortunately.
You don't want to agree with me. Is that it?
Well, I agree with that breakdown there. I do agree. And that is probably what I would do. However, I think it's also very likely the Jets don't get a lot of points.
Yeah, that's true. RD agrees with you. It's the championship.
Thank you.
Not the finals.
And I also had another point, but you were already talking and I wasn't going to interrupt you. In next league, you're not winning the finals belt. You're winning the championship belt.
In the finals.
No. Get out.
Mr. Grapefruit. Nice name. I got Kyler Murray as my quarterback, but he might not play due to an illness. Should I pick up Jaron Hall, Bryce Young, or Easton Stick? Those are disgusting choices. Out of all of those, I would probably say Easton Stick, but I think Kyler Murray's going to play. What do you think? Do you like Jaron Hall getting his first start there this year for the Vikings? Do you like Bryce Young, who looked better last week? He had 312 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Jaguars defense, or Easton Stick against the Broncos, but Easton Stick may still be without Keenan Allen. I say roll with Kyler.
I'm going to have to because he has the best matchup out of any quarterback this week.
Yep.
Those are awful choices. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
They are. Tyson's running backs are Chubb, Kyron Williams, Josh Jacobs, and Herbert. So you're starting Kyron and, of course, Jacobs or Herbert, unless he goes with Ford. So let's see. Just trying to make sure we get all of these. Non-PPR from Pancake, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, has Saquon, Etienne, Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, and James Conner in the flex. The bench is Mike Evans, Pittman, Chuba, Ty Chandler, and Brian Robinson. What should I do? I would put Mike Evans in as your flex over James Conner. Mike Evans has been on fire. Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield are on fire. They've won 4 in a row. They could win the division with this win. Mike Evans is just a stud. I don't think you can leave him on the bench.
I don't think I actually absolutely agree with you. You can't have him on your bench. You start your studs, and he's for sure top 10. What is he?
Yeah.
He's towards the
You
top.
have it right there, don't you?
Well,
You got him
hold
pulled
on.
up.
6.
Yeah, 6. I don't think you can leave Evans on your bench. I think you gotta go with Evans. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. So put him in there. All righty. Let's see. Sassy says Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, D Hop, Nico Collins, Kittle, CMC, Raiders, and Tucker. I think I think we need to go back here for a second.
Did you miss something?
I'm not sure what I missed. Sassy, if you could clarify your question. Sorry, I got lost there. My mother coming in and saying, always listen to your wife.
Very good advice to listen to from your mom.
RD says Brees or Pollard. Dallas. Dallas plays Detroit, who does have a good run defense. Brees tonight against the Browns, who are pretty decent. I like Brees, though. I know Pollard doesn't have Rico Dowdle to compete with this week, but the Cowboys are just so hit and miss, it seems like, including Pollard. I think I like going with Brees Hall.
I like Brees too for this.
All right. All right. Cody is playing Kyler.
Okay. I think it's safe, Cody. I think it's safe. However, I like Flacco.
All right. Here's Sassy's other lineup. Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, DeAndre Hopkins, Nico Collins, George Kittle, CMC, and then Raiders and Justin Tucker. On the bench is Brock Purdy, Cameron Dicker, Colts defense, Elijah Moore, Demario Douglas, Rams, Amir White. I like your lineup as is.
Yeah, I like it as is. I didn't hear anybody on your bench that I would sub.
Yeah. Let's roll through these sits real quick, just so that, or I guess not sits, but tough matchups real quick, and then we can get people out of here.
Yep.
Do you want me to start with the
absolutely.
or the quarterback? So Tua goes against the number 1 ranked defense of the Ravens. You saw what they made Brock Purdy look like. Flacco, we've been talking about Flacco, goes against the number 2 Jets defense. Commanders Jacoby Brissett is getting the start, but it's against the number 3 ranked 49ers defense. Trevor Siemian of the Jets goes against the number 3 also Browns. And then Trevor Lawrence or CJ Beathard, if Trevor Lawrence doesn't play, goes against the 5th ranked Panthers. Are there any of them that you're blindly starting even though they have a tough matchup? She really wants to just say Flacco. I can see it on her face.
Blindly starting.
Yes.
I do think Flacco has a chance at having a good game. Even though Amari's out.
I'm starting none of these guys.
You're
I
starting
know,
none of them?
I know if you have Tua, you probably don't have a
Mhm.
replacement that has the same upside, but they all have matchups that make me nervous.
I hope everybody listening knows that even though next week, this is our last start sit of the season,
Yes.
that we will be talking, and we already did our last waiver show of the season, but we will be talking about Joe Flacco and Kyler Murray on Wednesday next week.
Yeah.
We will be recapping this. This is too intense here. There's so much tension between us.
I'm writing it down so we don't forget.
Oh, I won't forget, Justin.
I believe that.
We're going to recap their performance.
My father's saying always listen to your wife, but you don't always have to agree.
Wait, what? Did you miss it? Because he was agreeing with me.
I just wasn't
He
listening.
repeated what I said and acted as if it was his good idea.
Cody's not going to forget either. Aaron will answer your question in a second here. You want to talk about running back matchups that are tough?
Yes, let's do it. All right. The hardest matchups for running backs this week, we've got Saquon Barkley versus the Rams. We have Tony Pollard against the number 2 Lions. Bears running backs against the Falcons. We have Alvin Kamara against the Bucks and James Conner against the Eagles.
Blindly starting any of those? Or do you want me to go?
I'm thinking. You go. Are you blindly starting
Barkley? I
Saquon?
can't bench him, even though I know I should have in a previous
I don't
matchup.
have any shares of Saquon.
Yeah, the Bears I'm definitely not starting. Kamara as well. It's hard to bench him, especially because he does have an impact in the pass game as well. Receiving game, so not pass game, the receiving game. So Barkley and Kamara, I think, are the two that I'm blindly starting. The rest, I'm hoping I can find players with better matchups. Thoughts?
You wouldn't do Connor?
I don't think so. The Eagles are terrible on defense, but the one thing they do well is stop the run. You would still start him?
I think I would start Connor.
Okay. Good to know. Cody's not going to forget this either, and he's going to be on the next episode. That's right. He is one of the guests we're going to be having.
So maybe we'll rehash this conversation
while
with
he's
you.
on there. Yeah.
Yes.
Aaron Elledge says pick 2: Pollard, Brees, Jacobs, or Eckler. Josh Jacobs for sure.
Jacobs,
Brees Hall. Yep, I agree with that. And let's see. Nick says he's boycotting our 100th episode if Cody's going to be on there.
Yeah, right, Nick. You'll be here.
RD said, do we get old-fashioned football in the off season? Absolutely.
Oh, we don't stop. We haven't stopped. We
will be here all off season, talking football, talking whiskey.
We have all of January pretty much planned out for
Yep,
shows.
we do.
You may still get us, we're for sure once a week, but you might still get us twice a week depending on any distiller interviews.
Yes.
We have, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. The distiller we have coming on the 17th.
Rose City Distilling.
Yes.
Out of Portland, Oregon.
They have the owl. I was thinking
they
of
have
an owl.
Owl City whiskey.
Yes.
I can't remember what style of whiskey that one was, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like we got a comment on Instagram. If you will be so kind to read that one.
Can I flash it across the screen?
No, that one unfortunately won't. I can't.
I may not know. Haley says I may not know much about the NFL, but I do know Miranda is usually right.
Don't. Start
I am
too. Wide receivers with hard matchups. Amari Cooper, especially hard now that he's not playing. I would not expect much out of him. Elijah Moore in his place. DJ Moore against the Falcons. Jamar Chase against the Chiefs. Demario Douglas or Devontae Parker against the Bills. And then Garrett Wilson tonight against the Browns. Are there any on that list that you're for sure starting?
Oops. Well, I'm not. You already said it. Amari Cooper's out, so that doesn't even count.
No. And I wouldn't start Elijah Moore.
I was going to say, so it's Elijah Moore against the Jets there. And I
said that. Weren't you listening?
No, I wasn't listening to you, Justin. How does it feel?
DJ Moore's going to go against that cornerback. I think his last name is Terrell, and he has been a shutdown cornerback. I know DJ
That's why I
Moore's
don't
good,
feel
but
like
I don't feel confident.
I
in
don't
it.
feel confident in that this week.
It's hard to bench Jamar Chase.
It is. I feel like I would start Jamar Chase. I'm gonna roll the dice.
Despite him bitching and saying he's not Iron Man, he can't throw it to himself.
Despite that,
Does the squeaky wheel get greased, or do they shun him for being a
I don't know.
me player?
I don't know.
That's
You're also
tough.
only seeing a snippet. Maybe he said some good things.
Maybe. I wouldn't trust starting any Patriots. And then Jets Garrett Wilson.
I would not start Garrett Wilson.
Not with Trevor Siemian throwing to him. Let's talk about tight ends.
All right. The hardest matchups this week for tight ends. We've got Dalton Kincaid against the Patriots. We have Dalton Schultz going against the number 2 Titans. Drew Sample for the Bengals going against the number 3 Chiefs. And we have Logan Thomas against the number 4 49ers. And the Dolphins, Durham Smith going against the Ravens.
Most of those guys you don't really want to start anyways, I feel like on a regular basis, unless you're desperate. I've liked Logan Thomas, but I don't know if I trust him against the Niners.
No, I'm not starting these guys.
None of them.
Mm-mm.
The only one I think I would consider is Kincaid or Knox for the Bills, but I don't know. That's such a Belichick loves trying to beat the Bills. I don't know. I say none of those guys as well. I'll agree with you. I had to start Durham Smythe. I think it's Smith, but I like to call him Smythe.
Smythe?
Yeah, Smythe me. I've had to start him all year in a dynasty league, and it's just been brutal. I've somehow managed to be competitive, but I just feel like if I had a tight end not named Durham Smythe, maybe I would do better.
It's Smith.
Getting a lot of comments on this comment. Distiller and a live pod at the Moose sometime from RD. Yeah, RD, I mean, if you could help us find a distiller that wants to meet us at the Moose, maybe you got some connections through who you order from or something like that. We would absolutely be down for that. Nick, talking about some of your memorable quotes.
What did he say?
A fart is like a butt sneeze. And Parker says on the Arby's, should I move around Saquon and ETN for Connor or Ty Chandler or Brian Robinson or Chuba Hubbard? I would stick with ETN and Saquon. Dennis checking in saying start 2 half PPR, Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson, or Breece Hall. Matchups all bad. I hate Arthur Smith. Help me. I would go with Jonathan Taylor and Bijan. I just, for some reason, I think he's going to be able to take a little bit of advantage against the Bears there. Bears defense has been good, but he seems like the style of running back that's going to be able to cut into us some. So,
Nick, you are on my shit list.
RD says tight ends in hard matchups. I thought this was a family show. Touche, RD, touche. I think that's all we got for today. We had a lot of good questions, so thanks for checking in. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like, leave a review, all that stuff.
I'm sorry, I'm dying.
Is it your...
No.
Well, okay. My mic has been shut off. Do you have anything else you want to add? Any words of wisdom?
No. I've spoken enough words of wisdom for everybody today, past and present.
Good luck in your finals.
Yep. Championship? No. Championship.
Yep.
No.
Good luck in your championships. We hope you guys win. Take home the belt, the money, the trophy, whatever it is. Even if it's just the pride, that's okay too. Cody says, great show. Cody, thanks for checking in. We appreciate you. Thanks, RD. Thanks to everybody. Nick, Pancake. I can't name you all. I apologize. Sassy Tyson, the one that I can't say, Mr. Grapefruit, all these good ones.
No, we appreciate the interaction on the chat. It makes it fun.
It does. This is our last show.
I knew this was coming. I was hoping we wouldn't get to this because you already said
we're not doing another show till next year.
I know. And I don't know. Oh my gosh, Justin, I have complained about the dad jokes of this is my last time this year, or I won't do this till next year. I have joined in on it and it doesn't work, for you to stop doing it. And I've tried ignoring it and it doesn't work. You still do it and it drives me insane.
Yeah. So we will see you all next year. It's going to be that long. Wednesday, 7:00 Central Time. I forgot what time zone we were. 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. It's going to be our 100th show.
It's going to be a good time.
It will be a good time. We got guests like Cody Z, Rod Villa Gomez, Sean Stacking the Money Green, Adam Pelletier, Colby Dantabase is going to try to make a stop by. Ryan Real Money Kramer going to try to stop by. All sorts of good stuff. We've got some flashback videos, just some fun stuff. So try to make it for that show. Come hang out, have some whiskey with us if you like whiskey. If you don't, just come hang out anyways. That's all we've got for tonight. Good luck.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. I wish I had a little thing. Going once, going twice.
Sold.
Old-fashioned football.